Welcome to A Political Affair with Olivia Cantu. Today we have a really awesome guest that I'm really excited to discover and get to know. His name is Fabian Basabe. Fabian, am I saying that correctly? Is that how you like it?
Yeah.
Well, welcome. He's actually running for Miami Beach Commissioner, Group 2, is that correct?
Well, actually, I'm in Group 5 for 2023 election.
Group 5 for the 2023 election. That means we have some time to get to know him and find out what he's about. So let's get started. Fabian, tell me, where did you grow up and what makes you the perfect candidate for Miami Beach?
So I was born and raised in New York City, but I lived here for 6 years when I was younger. My parents live in Bay Harbor Islands. They came down here in 1987 and started kind of that Art Deco district movement that kind of put Miami Beach on the map. I went to a series of schools, ended up in college in California, and then I moved back to New York City for a decade. I met my wife in college. We went to Pepperdine University together and decided, when it was right and the time that I wanted to start a family, that Miami would be the place that we would raise our son. So that's kind of how I came back to Miami Beach.
Why did you decide in our little town?
So it's funny, we were kind of between the East Coast and West Coast. And, when you have that East Coast mentality, in Latin family, they're like, what, California? Come back to the, East Coast mentality. And when we were there, they would come visit us. But it's funny, in the Latin families, they're very, stubborn and they're set in their ways and they want to stay in their hotels and they do their things. And then before you know it, we're pregnant. So it's, we have to stay with the kids need us. And then before you know it, the Italians are there and they like their espresso with their biscotti at 7 on the dot. And then my parents, my mother is a total gringa, but my dad is from Ecuador, and my mom is just acclimated very comfortably to the South American lifestyle. So she wants her breakfast at 11, and the whole to do. And then we were, young and having a lot of fun, so we would wake up later. We start our days a little later. So my housekeeper is like, Señor, ya no puedo más, no aguanto, I'm running a bed and breakfast at my home, and it's just family. So we're like, maybe we should go back to Miami and just at least start our family there. Everyone has a home here. They can kind of come, spend some time with us, and then go back to their respective homes, and then we have some control of our household again. And then
So you're very family oriented from what I can
hear.
Very.
Very. All I've ever wanted to do is be a dad, and I love my family. I talk to my parents every day. My wife does as well. We're very close. I'm close with her family. Our parents are friends.
Where's your wife from?
She's Italian. She's from Bologna, Italy.
Oh, nice.
And we spend a few months of the year there every year. I've been spending a few months in Italy for 22 years now. So I speak Italian, and I love it. I really enjoy going there. Just the warmth, the family, the culture, the community there. Very similar to what we have here.
You know what I like about you, Fabian, is that you seem to represent a lot of the citizens that make up Miami Beach. Yeah. Because as I'm listening to you talking, I'm a fellow native of Miami Beach. I've lived there since, if you want to get technical, June 18th, 1986 is when the plane landed.
Amazing.
So I'm in and out. I know that city very well. That's my hometown. And as I'm listening to you speak, I'm thinking to myself, okay, well, hold on a second. This man, of course, he comes from New York. For those of you who know, Miami Beach is slowly turning into small New York, right?
Got I'm a lot from of New Yorkers. Real New York. I'm from real New York.
Oh, like where?
No, I'm
like the city.
Upper East Side, city. But
check him out, Gossip Girl over here. Like that's nice.
But interestingly enough, I don't really understand, this new New York. We've got a mayor that no one's really happy with. There's a whole bunch of scandal in government over there. Not unlike a lot of places, but Miami, like you say, really is more representative of who I am and it's why I raised my son here, because I am more that melting pot.
And just the fact that you came down here as a child as well, so you had that exposure of when Miami was making a shift, which, by the way, I think is about to happen. I think we're going to our next revival, don't you think?
Yes, I will hopefully. That's the plan. I think it's really interesting what's going on in Miami Beach right now. And I entered this never, ever in my life thinking that I would enter a political forum. But I saw my city in trouble. I don't see enough things going in the right direction. I see a lot of people taking from my city and not enough people putting back in. And without that balance, you're not going to have a successful community, you're not going to have a happy community. And there's a lot of people really intimidated in stepping up right now because, just with social media and so much access and so many critics, everyone has a voice. I don't necessarily know that all of these voices should be just kind of commenting on everything. I think you should have people that are respected and studied in certain areas to comment on certain things. But anyway, it's intimidating to be in that public, arena right now. So that, how I got into this is a friend of mine wanted to run. A friend of mine was going to run, but he has a successful business. And meeting with the consultants, they told him, be prepared. They're going to come at you for this. They're going to come at you for something else. They might make things up. Who knows? And then they had to make a decision. This could ultimately affect my business. And everyone thinks, okay, protect your business, protect your bottom line. But it wasn't really that. That was not the concern. They have a lot of employees. Anything hurts that company, and it's putting people out of work. So they had to make a responsible decision, take care of the small community that they could, that they've been guaranteeing stability for, or take a chance in a bigger problem in the Miami Beach community and the politics of Miami Beach right now. And they got a little intimidated and stepped back. And I said, that's insane. Good people that can make great impact are not stepping up for this reason. So I just went down to City Hall the next day and I filled out the forms and I did the fingerprinting and I signed up to run for office.
Well, you know what? That's exactly what we want to hear around here because, our podcast is not about Democrats and Republicans. We're about creating that middle conversation where we push ahead. And from what you're telling me, you didn't come in there looking at a Republican stance or a Democratic stance. You came in there looking to solve a problem. So we're going to continue getting to know Fabian a little bit more and ask him about those problems and the things that he wants to create change for our community. Give us a second and we'll be right with you.
The True Channel podcast brings you the opportunity to become our associated producer, the best of radio and television in our 24/7 outlet. Be the owner of your own business, be the star of your own show, and make your dreams come true. Earn thousands of dollars while doing the things you love the most. The best crew working for you. Don't lose the opportunity to be a part of this great team. Book the best time slot available for you. Become a star of the digital media.
Studio 44 Makeup te invita a participar en el workshop Conviértete en un artista del maquillaje y comienza tu exitosa carrera hoy. Sé parte de la industria de la televisión, fotografía publicitaria, entretenimiento y más. Participa del glamoroso mundo de show business. Solo haz clic en el link y da el primer paso para hacer de tus sueños una realidad. Studio 44 Makeup, dirigidos por profesionales de maquillaje del cine y la televisión.
Welcome back to A Political Affair with Olivia Cantu. We are here with Fabian Basabe, who is running for Miami Beach Commissioner in 2023. And we wanted to go over some of the big issues in Miami Beach with Fabian. So the first thing, Fabian, we wanted to talk about was crime prevention. I know that there's a lot of issues going on with the police force right now in Miami Beach with the issues that we're having. What's your take on that?
So Miami Beach right now, a lot of people are talking about just increasing the budgets for the cops and all of that, but I think we need to start with the real issue at hand is a branding issue. Miami Beach has a reputation of being an entertainment city, and it should be. It should be. But people need to realize that this is our home as well. And when you're visiting us, this is a home away from home that you should respect. So what we need to do is just take a full-blown marketing agenda, buy out every front page of every local paper and social media ads saying, if you are not coming to this city to live, work, and play responsibly, you're just not welcome. And we need to let people know that as a community, and especially as a governing body, we are fully supportive of enforcing our laws. And that's all laws. I'm talking from the noise ordinances to the pollution, to the loitering, to the litter, all of it. And people need to understand that we're serious. We're serious about taking care of our backyard. So on that end, I think now when we get to the police force, look, I certainly wouldn't want to be a cop in Miami Beach right now.
It's hard work.
Especially Ocean Drive. that's a hot topic right now because we basically have it barricaded off. So no one can get in. You have cops and they're saying, why are these beat cops not walking the beat? Okay, you're going to have one or two. There's mobs of people out there. How can a few cops, how can 10 cops control this? You know? And everyone's got their cameras out and everyone's ready to accuse cops of something. And look,
they arrive there with a hatred.
And there's a stigma, and I understand it. And there are some really bad people in this world, but I believe people, for the most part, are inherently good. I don't know why they would sign up for this service. You know, this is a public service. Cops don't make that much, and they risk their lives every day, you know, trying to protect and serve. And they take their job seriously. They're patriotic. They care about their communities.
That's why I really think that we should make sure that they all have cameras.
They definitely need cameras front and back. They need not just to, look, everyone's worried about controlling cops and policing them. Okay, the cameras give us that security. We know what's going on. And one camera fails, there's a backup camera. I don't want any of these glitches happening. Let's do that. And at the same time, we are protecting them from the accusations in front of them, because here's what happens now. I mean, I was brought up, you respect the police officer. A cop says freeze, you freeze. You're getting pulled over, you put your hands at 10 and 2 on the wheel. You don't mess around. You know,
why would you want to mess around with someone with a gun, right?
And you know, and they're scared too. You don't know what they've seen and their experiences. And you know, they'll go up to a car, and there have been cops that have just walked up to a car and gotten shot for no good reason. There are incidents that they, you know, while there's definitely the other side and there have been controversy, and I understand it, and it shouldn't happen. For the most part, these cops are walking around risking their lives. And in doing so, we need to respect and not agitate and not complicate the situation.
Especially in such a high anxiety zone like it is from 5th through, 5th through 16th, right? All the way
it's a crime scene 24/7 over there. So when a cop is walking, they are potentially addressing a crime scene. So you need to step back. When they're working, you need to step away. When an ambulance has their lights on the road, you pull over. Why are they not doing this for beat cops? They're kind of getting in the picture. And how do you know if it's a phone or if it's a knife or if someone's going to hit the, you know, they don't have, you know, eyes on the back of their head. And even if there are 2 or 3 of them, you know, they're outnumbered.
You know, I mean,
we only have a few hundred cops.
I know, and this is something that we can educate them from the minute they land at Miami International Airport, you know, like have those posters out, you know, sometimes they have like the mayor speaking to the people who just arrived in Orlando. Buddy Dyer's talking 100%. To us. You know, down here we've got...
I mean, I've been to countries where it says, if you do this, you are subject to our laws, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
Like... It's insane. I mean, I don't want to go that far, but I do.
Toward the Middle East,
I do for a little bit. You know, I do for a little bit. I want to say, listen, if you're not coming here, there's going to be a mandatory 72-hour hold if you're part of that problem. If you're not respecting our city, we are going to enforce our laws. And that also goes for the locals and the businesses. We're going to enforce our ordinances. We're going to enforce our zoning. We're going to enforce it all. We're going to take care of our city.
And our businesses, because as you know, we've been having trouble over at Mango's, and then we were having trouble over at what's that place that we've been going to since we were kids? What's it called?
But what kind of trouble are we having there?
Where
there's never trouble inside.
No, they were being accused of having drug dealers inside selling, and the owner was like, absolutely not. I'm not condoning that. You know, obviously, you know, I want to keep a clean city for tourists to come in. A lot of people looking forward to landing here when they come off the cruise ships.
I mean, if there was a case that was, you know, prosecuted and won, but these accusations just can't fly, you know,
yeah. He put a whole letter on the front of the Mango's. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Look. There's a lot of controversy around our relationship as well, because I happen to know David Wallach, the owner of Mango's, and I you know, I knew him when I was this big, and I've gotten to know him again because he's kind of really vocal about this whole Ocean Drive opening it up and what's going on, and they're blaming the entertainment venues for the problem. And it's just not true. It's just not true. When you actually live it, when you get in there and you see what's going on, you kind of understand the better picture. It's a program decline. It's a land grab. It's all over the media. There are special interest groups on both sides putting out their messages, but you need to do your own homework. Follow the money. Always follow the money and do your own homework, and you will understand better. But people don't have time.
That's very interesting that you say that, because a land grab. So what do you think about all of the development that's going on and the development that they're trying to create, what are they calling it? A new... there's a word for it. I saw it on the news. They were creating a new
for Ocean Drive, like that whole
No, like
MXE
yes,
entertainment district.
Exactly.
So
A mixed-use entertainment district.
yeah, my theory, which has been pretty much reinforced by a lot of research that I've done and some personal encounters of late, which is a whole nother story.
Can we
It's
talk
kind of
about that?
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead.
because I cannot wait to end the 7 minutes. You guys, I want you to know this. This is going to be juicy. So if you're going to go pick up something to drink or something to eat, do it now, because after we come back from commercial break, we're going to get really, really juicy stuff here. You don't want to miss it.
The tell-all.
Tell all.
Studio 44 Makeup te invita a participar en el workshop Conviértete en un artista del maquillaje y comienza tu exitosa carrera hoy. Sé parte de la industria de la televisión, fotografía publicitaria, entretenimiento y más. Participa del glamoroso mundo de show business. Solo haz clic en el link y da el primer paso para hacer de tus sueños una realidad. Studio 44 Makeup. Dirigidos por profesionales de maquillaje del cine y la televisión.
The True Channel Podcast te brinda la oportunidad de convertirte en nuestro productor asociado. Lo mejor de la radio y televisión en una estación 24 horas. Sé dueño de tu propio programa. Sé la estrella de tu podcast. Haz tu sueño realidad mientras ganas dinero. Tendrás al mejor equipo trabajando para ti. No pierdas la oportunidad de ser parte de este gran team, así que llama ya y reserva tu horario. Conviértete en una estrella de la digital media.
Welcome back to A Political Affair with Olivia Cantu and Fabian Basabe. We want to continue discussing some of the points that he's running on, because I find two of them to be actually quite riveting, especially for those of us who are local Miami Beach residents. Fabian, talk to us about the homeless issues that are happening and your take on trying to fix this problem.
So, I mean, it's amazing that this is still an issue and it hasn't been resolved. And there's no accountability. I mean, I posed a question to the community the other day to help me find out where the money's going, because they constantly are asking for more, and there's a new tax on the ballot for an additional 1%. It's a lot of money. So what I think, and what I'm going to campaign on, are actual solutions for the next 2 years, and I'd like to really tackle this problem. We have people that are our citizens, and Miami Beach needs to take care of our weakest link. I mean, if these people are down and out on their luck, they have mental health issues, they have substance abuse issues, we need to have programs to immediately address that. And they have to have an option. They don't just get to roam freely on the most expensive real estate. People earn their place here. You've got to work, you've got to earn, you've got to build, you've got to produce, you've got to be a productive member of society. And that's what we need to encourage. Right now, we just have an enabling program that is just shuffling people around. And there's all these caveats. I mean, if you are sent to one center and you are, suffering from some substance abuse, they reject you, and then you're back on the street. So some people just don't want to go in, and there's no expectation. I think it's time for some tough love.
You mean like getting them Baker Acted for 72 hours and then they're right back?
Yeah, I mean that's it's an extreme, but something that we can kind of promote where it's not really one of those government things that's filed in a court. But we can just look. I wouldn't criminalize it. There are people struggling, but at the same time, you are walking around high as a kite. You are making noise. You are defecating in our public spaces. Some of this ends up being harassment, to our tourism industry, our private businesses. We've got to protect our community, and we've got to take care of those who are not doing well in our community. We have a responsibility, but there's no plan.
What I like about you, and again, Fabian and I have been discussing this off air as well, is that you're not just looking to criminalize homelessness. You're not looking to just throw them in somewhere. No, Fabian is saying, let's get them help. Let's get them drug rehabilitation programs. Let's get them to talk about how to move to the next level.
Yeah, I mean, I've helped people. I've been through a lot of situations in my travels, and I've seen people that have suffered, from mental illness and from substance abuse. And the rehabilitation process is not easy. And you can't just expect people to either be arrested and just sober up in jail, or you need to have the right medication, the right counseling, the right program dedicated and catered specifically to each individual case. That's time, that's money, but at the same time, it's a solution, and it's a reaction that at the end, when these people come out of it, they're going to thank you for it. They're going to say, you know what, I kind of didn't know where I was for a bit.
And don't forget, these people were drawn in because we created this jewel called Miami. Yeah. And they're drawn in, they're like, oh, let's go party there. And unfortunately, they do end up turning into alcoholics or drug addicts sometimes.
I wouldn't go that far. Miami Beach is not to blame. We have plenty of a healthy lifestyle promoted in our city. I wouldn't say that it's to blame,
but it draws in that party scene. And people who don't know any better, those are the people that end up, in this drug addiction lifestyle and end up dying. I've known some of them.
There are very, unique circumstances to a lot of the homeless element in our community. But I think that, and that's another issue, we're taking in homeless from across the nation. And that's a problem because each community, each city is allocating specific funds to address their issue. But if you have Detroit sending us their homeless, we need those funds redirected to us. We can't just deplete ours. We need our budget to be taking care of our Miami Beach residents. They're walking around without ID. I need to know who they are. I need to know where they're from. I need to know if they have a criminal background. I need to understand what we're dealing with. And everyone is very delicate and sensitive to this issue because we do care. It's a humanitarian interest, and people are kind and generous. But too much love is not resolving the problem. We need to get a little tougher on this for their sake. It's better for them. It's better for the community.
There's no infrastructure or operations for this currently.
There really isn't. There are some programs, there are some outreach programs. We don't have a shelter. And then there's the argument of, do we build a shelter in the most expensive real estate, district in Miami? Or do we build something, 10 miles west and provide transport? We have to do what's in the best interest financially of the community too, because we can build something that can generate revenue, that can sustain a program. We have to think of this on a business level because everything costs money. Medicine costs money. Counseling costs money. We need to figure out a way to do this right. And it's not as complicated as people, make it out to be.
Well, I agree.
We just need to make up our mind to deal with it already.
Yeah, and there's a lot of grants, like I was telling you before. There's a lot of grants, a lot of money coming out from the CRA programs to help issues like this. So I know that somebody who's, got this, and you're not a career politician. You're here because you want to create something different for our community. You want to clean us up. You want to make sure that we go back to the way that we were running and better, right? Those are your motivations.
Definitely. I'd like to get out there. I'd like to do as much as I can. I'm no martyr. I'm going to donate a few years of my time and do the best I can and hopefully inspire others, other like-minded, humanitarians to kind of jump in and do their, civic duty, their community service duty, their responsibility to their community.
Now, I promised you guys a little bit of gossip, right? So, unfortunately, since we are running out of time, I'm going to quickly transition into workforce housing, and then we're going into the juicy gossip because I don't want to leave you guys without that. And also, I'm really curious. I want to know more. It's really good stuff here. So, I'm going to let you guys go for right now. Political Affair with Olivia Cantu. Thank you, Fabian, for being here with us.
My pleasure. And thank you for having me.
2 more seconds. We'll be right back with the juicy gossip. Thank you for joining us here at the Political Affair. We have Fabian Basabe, who's running for commissioner at Miami Beach, and he's got a juicy piece of gossip to tell us. For those of you who haven't been looking on Google.com, you might want to Google Mixed Use Entertainment District Levine, Miami Beach. Tell us why.
So I was on a Zoom call about a month ago with organized by former Mayor Levine, and on the call was our current elected mayor, Dan Gelber, and our city manager. And on the call that was, meant to be an open forum for people to discuss the future of Miami Beach. That's how they're spinning it. There was only very high net worth developers on the call discussing the effectiveness of a political action committee, a PAC, special interest money to help and exercise their power to get specific commissioners elected, to push forward an agenda. The program decline agenda with the real estate grab that everyone's been talking about. That's for so many people has been theory.
Who would be running this PAC? Do you know it would be like the Levine crowd?
Well, it's that crowd, right? It's gotcha. Organized by him, and then they have a consultant, I think. I can't make accusations because I don't have all the specific details. I only know that I was on the call. I heard these things that sounded fishy, so what I did is I turned it over to the Miami New Times. Gotcha. They had their researchers fact check, they had their legal team vet it, they had all of that done. The interesting thing is now they initially started saying, oh, that's a doctored tape or whatever.
Isn't it all?
What they don't know is I gave the entire high def. First of all, I don't even know how to do tech stuff, so I couldn't fix it if I tried. But I turned over the entire tape, and what was presented were just highlights of the specific things that I think the public needed to hear.
Give us
So
some of
did
those
the media.
highlights. Tell us.
It was just basically one saying, my office will be at your disposal. Let us know what you need, and we will make sure it's done. And if it's not popular, if you can't get on the ballot, I'll put it on the ballot. I'll push it through. I'll campaign for it. Another thing is, one of them was saying elections cost money. We need to raise money and support a PAC. This is something you're not supposed to really talk about with.
No, it's not. Listen,
all kinds of ethics, suspicious behavior. I don't know what's legal and not legal.
Well, I do, because I was removed from the ballot because I was running a PAC. So if you want to know, I'll tell you exactly what's legal and what's not legal.
Well, I think this is something
That's
for
illegal.
the new Inspector General and for the Miami-Dade Board of Ethics to look into, and they're going to do what they need to do. But at the same time, people have their information. Follow the money. Do your homework. Get out and vote, please.
You see these people? He's not afraid to look unpopular in his little group of colleagues that are running after the same seat. He's not afraid to stand up and say, you know what? This is not right. This recording is fishy. Take a look at it. Let's see what's going on. Because honestly, what's happening there and what he's speaking up against is, this, if you know it, nepotism. There is nepotism involved in this. So let's raise money so that we can make sure that, our little buddy over here who's been faithful to us gets that seat. And that's really not the way that it should be run. And we thank you, Fabian.
Right now, I need people to vote against the established status quo. So I don't know if you're familiar with any of the other candidates. They certainly don't have the budget that the establishment has to run these campaigns.
And when you say the establishment, you mean Stephen, right?
I mean Dan Gelber and Philip Levine and anyone that they're supporting or backing. So do your homework, and in the meantime, just vote against the established status quo. Let's make a change. Let's get people who don't want to be career politicians elected. That people that want to have, their ear open to the community, get their advice. This is a commission and a mayor. This is a local nonpartisan election. Shouldn't be this corrupt and manipulating.
It's Miami Beach. That's the thing,
Yeah.
There's
Well,
a
we're
lot of
gonna
money
change
going
all
in and
that.
out.
Yeah.
We really hope so. We're here to support you and everything that we can, Fabian. We want to get your word out.
Yeah, to anyone who wants to follow, I have a website, fabianbasabe.com. Please subscribe. Follow me on social media. I'm not as active as I should be because I'm really out there busy every day knocking on doors and getting to know my constituents. But there will be a lot of information. So get involved, get outside, get people voting, and I just want to inspire change.
Amen. And thank you for having the courage to do that. Well, thank you so much for spending time with us today. I will be right back with you after a break.
Thank you. This is great.
Studio 44 Makeup te invita a participar en el workshop Conviértete en un artista del maquillaje y comienza tu exitosa carrera hoy. Sé parte de la industria de la televisión, fotografía publicitaria, entretenimiento y más. Participa del glamoroso mundo de show business. Solo haz clic en el link y da el primer paso para hacer de tus sueños una realidad. Studio 44 Makeup. Dirigidos por profesionales de maquillaje del cine y la televisión.
The True Channel Podcast te brinda la oportunidad de convertirte en nuestro productor asociado. Lo mejor de la radio y televisión en una estación 24 horas. Sé dueño de tu propio programa. Sé la estrella de tu podcast. Haz tu sueño realidad mientras ganas dinero. Tendrás al mejor equipo trabajando para ti. No pierdas la oportunidad de ser parte de este gran team, así que llama ya y reserva tu horario. Conviértete en una estrella de la digital media.
Welcome back to A Political Affair with Olivia Cantu and Fabian Basabe. Fabian, really quickly, before we talk about the MXC and what's happening out there in Miami Beach, tell me about the workforce housing.
So this is another issue that I'd like to resolve. For a lot of people that are anti-development, there is a way to do this responsibly. Development does not have to mean displacement. And we have infrastructure issues. We have, a lot of things. The future is coming, and we're going to have to figure out a way to responsibly develop in Miami Beach. And at the same time, people who work in Miami Beach should have a right to live there. So if we can incentivize builders to give us, housing where we can work out some sort of salary incentive, a scaled incentive salary-based program where we can cap it based on their salary, and know those numbers in advance so the builders can build accordingly, so we can make the numbers work financially so that the people who work in the city can afford to pay their rent. And these are also projects that are owned by the city. Whether we hire or partner with developers for the management of it is different, but I don't think any public sale of our land should be happening. Miami Beach needs to be honest with the fact that they are in the real estate business. They need to own it. They need to run it. They need to run it for the best interest all around for the community. And all those revenues can give us, funding to resolve other issues. And we've got many, and they are fixable.
Now, besides Rebecca Towers and that other building that they have in Bay Road, is there any other affordable housing on the island? I don't think so.
Affordable housing is a completely different issue, and I don't want to confuse that, because what I'd like to do is have a city-owned building that is just more affordable, not affordable housing. Because now you're involving things outside of the city. You're getting federal, you're getting county, you're getting... I don't want any of that involved. I want us to build the building for the right amount of prices, give the builders the right amount of incentives so that they can build at a more cost-efficient, amount, so that we can afford to take a little bit less rent and still make the numbers work where you're turning a profit for the city and at the same time providing housing.
Interesting. We had a project that was trying to be developed like that over at what's that university, Johnson and Wales, when they were having a fight for that campus, and they were trying to do something like that where they have people come in and they can afford to live there, but then they also educate them on how to become an entrepreneur, how to start a business, how to get funding and so forth.
Yeah.
So maybe
there's a lot of weird deals going on the beach, and right now you've got public land that should be worth $300 million supposedly trying to sell to a developer for $50 million, and that's just a huge loss for the city, and plus the future revenues just never come back to us. I mean, that's gone. Once it's gone, it's gone. We shouldn't sell any public land in Miami Beach.
Wow. All right, guys, so just like we promised you, here we go. MXC, Mixed Use Entertainment District. That is from 5th and Ocean Drive all the way to 16th and Collins Avenue. Yeah. Right?
So this originally was the Art Deco District and the American Riviera, which has been now re-identified as the Entertainment District, which is a targeted area right now. It's the hottest real estate in the country. It's our last anchor, right? I mean, and we don't have anywhere else like it in the country. I mean, we've got beautiful beaches, we've got the beautiful facades, we've got a historic integrity that's just celebrated worldwide. And we have people that obviously want it. We have something great and somebody wants it. And I was invited to a call recently where they were talking about the future of this area. And you have a lot of interested parties. And I cannot blame money for doing what money does. And people are in business, and they're in the real estate business, and they're in development business. They've got to seek out.
Are you allowed to tell us who was on that call?
It's public knowledge at this point.
Really, public knowledge. So we can find this.
You'll find it everywhere now.
It's online.
Because what happened was, I was a bit shocked, and I tried to give the benefit of the doubt of the players on this call because, I've heard that this was kind of a program decline and there's a big agenda and politics come into play here where they're trying to run down these small businesses, put them all out, take away their licensing, take away their permits for, operating after hours, whatever it is, taking revenues away so the entertainment aspect of these hotels can't pay their mortgages any longer or sustain themselves any longer. And new developers can come in and buy it up at, a fraction of the price and then turn it into something new. And the new plan is to build up, build high, and turn it into their downtown. And their downtown is this group of developers who are invited to support our elected mayor in a plan to create a new vision for the Art Deco district, for the so-called entertainment district. I was a bit shocked. I wanted to give the guy the benefit of the doubt. I mean, he's a Miami, born and raised guy, second generation, third generation Politico in town.
Levine?
No, this is Dan Gelber.
Dan Gelber?
The current mayor, Dan Gelber.
Oh, okay.
Phil Levine was mayor for a while. He's the guy who spent millions of dollars to get, elected in Miami Beach. And there's just, they're all in business as well. That's another interesting thing about me and why I was so effective in running my campaign. I don't have any business interests in Miami Beach. And I don't want to be a politician. And I've got my own money. So I came in there saying, hey, I'm going to ask all the right questions, and I'm not fundraising, And they just didn't know what to do with me.
Well, what I like about that, Fabian, and for those of you who are watching, is what he's trying to tell us is nobody owns him.
Yeah.
He doesn't have strings attached to him. Meaning that when he listens to us and he knows that there's an agenda or something he needs to push forward, his loyalty will be on whether or not it's a good idea for his people or not whether or not he's going to get the right funding and the right money for his campaign or so forth. So we commend you for that. Thank you.
It's common sense decisions that put Miami Beach first. That's really, we just need more of that. I mean, we're a small town. And what they're talking right now, this crime issue, it's, again, I say program decline because when you do your homework, you'll find out. The new wave of tourism, the fact that Ocean Drive is closed off, these are all decisions made by our mayor and the current commission.
Geared towards what?
Well, geared towards, look, I'm a New Yorker, and think about areas like Chelsea and how that was created. You would have the homeless, you would have the criminals, you would have the prostitution rings and the drug dealers, and they would just kind of sit there. And then you'd have the police kind of backing off for whatever political agenda.
Allowing the madness to ensue.
They let that happen. The real estate prices go down. Big developers come in, they buy it up, and then they build their vision. That's kind of what's going on here. Chelsea turned out great. I just don't think that we need another downtown in Miami. First of all, we can't sustain it. The classrooms are full. We've got infrastructure issues. We can't build more mixed-use housing in Miami Beach. We've got enough properties that we need to responsibly redevelop as is. We don't need new stuff.
Absolutely. And we haven't even touched on the fact that we're sinking.
The future is coming. They only want the hot real estate. Why are they not focusing on some of our struggling areas and responsibly redeveloping those, bringing it up, addressing the issues, creating, opportunities for workers to come and be able to live where they're living? No, they want the hot, beachfront property on Billionaires Row.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Fabian, for being here and speaking with us on this. I'm sure we're going to see you again. We're really excited that you're going to be running in 2023, which means, you guys, that from now until 2023, this man is going to be running a lot of social campaigns, things to educate us, to help us. So please go on to our website and send us a message. Let us know what you think. And also let us know if you're interested in being a part of the programs that he's going to be pushing. We're talking homelessness. We're talking more awareness and education regarding what's happening with our sewage system, right? He's going to be talking about more about the need for cameras for our police force. So those are things that we want to hear you talk about and then hopefully volunteer. So we'll be in touch, and thank you so much for joining us here at The Political Affair. Have a beautiful day.